All right, what is going on, fight fans? First of all, Happy New Year's to you all. It has been a minute since I talked boxing with you, fight fans. Some of you know how it goes. Sometimes I miss a fight here or there, and I cannot get in and talk boxing with you. But something came across my feed just today, and that is Andre Ward's interview with Layla Ali. Now, for those of you who may not know about this podcast, Andre Ward has a podcast called The Art of Ward. He does a great job. I don't know how some of you may have felt about Andre Ward when he was a fighter. Well, I should take that back. I do know some of you loved him and some of you did not. I know that from talking to people on Twitter, conversing with people after his fights. Regardless of how you feel about Andre Ward, he has been doing a great job with this podcast game. I listened to his podcast with Clarissa Shields, the one with Mike Tyson, the one with Roy Jones, and now the one with Layla Ali. And that's the one I want to talk about today. You never know how people are handle things with copyright, so I won't actually play like the whole interview or even a huge bulk of the interview just in case. But for fair use, I'm just using some clips here just to kind of give you all some idea of some things she talked about, because there was two things in particular that stood out that I want to jump on. Kind of want you to listen and get her thoughts on it, and then I'll jump in with my thoughts and we will take it from there. Now, this first clip that I'm going to play is her talking about Ann Wolf. Now, I have always gave my feeling on Layla Ali in her career. Now, throughout this interview, I don't remember if she said it in this part of the interview or not, but throughout her career, I have always had an issue with the women that she didn't fight. And she actually talks about that in this interview, the fact that her resume is not complete because there were some good fighters, namely Letitia Robinson and Ann Wolf, who she did not fight. And those could have really sealed her legacy. So her resume is kind of spotty, and she even revealed some of her insecurities with her resume, with her career, for not taking those fights. But let's listen in and see what she has to say when Andre Ward asks her about the Ann Wolf fight. As you see here, this is her with Christy Martin. I believe that this is at the Hall of Fame, and she just finished talking about the fight that they had and how that came about. So let's pick it up right here and see what she has to say about Ann Wolf.
I was gonna ask you, y'all good?
Yeah. No, we're cool. We have a certain respect for each other.
Well, I know you've been asked this a gazillion times, but the short version, like, why did the Ann Wolf fight didn't take place? I mean, it was talked about. You have your view, she has hers. Why did that fight happen?
I have lost so much sleep over that because no, literally, I wanted to fight her so bad. When I say so bad, because the you're only as good as the people you fight. Why is there two fighters that are great fighters that never fought each other? Why did in my weight class all the top fighters didn't fight each other? You had four of us. You had me, you had Ann, you had Letitia Robinson was a good fighter.
Okay.
I wanted to fight her because she had an amateur career. She could box. Then there was Natasha Ragosina. So none of us have fought each other.
All good points. Those are three
Okay.
good fighters that could have made her career. Like I said, I have spoke on that before. Maybe not so much for Natasha, but I always felt that for her to be considered one of the all-time greats, she needed to fight Ann Wolf and she needed to fight Letitia Robinson. Now, for those of you who may not know Robinson, she was a very good fighter. She was a middleweight at the time when Layla was fighting. Let's continue on a little bit.
Of course, everyone says it's me. But usually if it's me, you guys will be fighting each other, right? But there's a thing with these women, like, you got to step up. Okay? Step up. You're not going to be able to just, I'm the best, and don't fight each other. But the long and short of it is, Anne finally said it herself when she did an interview, because we actually were finally going to fight. She was on the undercard of, who was it? When I fought Christy, she fought Valerie Mahfoud.
I remember that.
We put her on the undercard because that was going to be the lead up to our.
Now, I actually don't remember that. Now, I actually did buy that fight back in the day. I want to say it was 2004 when they fought. I don't remember Ann Wolf being on that undercard, but that's a smart move to put Ann Wolf on the undercard. And I want to touch on something that Layla said. She said something that Saul Alvarez has always said. I'm the guy, I'm the cash cow, I'm the king of the division, I'm the king of boxing. If you guys want to fight me so bad, why are you guys not fighting each other? And then the winner can get to me. So she's kind of saying some of the same thing here.
Our fight. I'm not going to put you on the undercard not to fight you. Then she pulled out after that, wanting more money. And then she did an interview on ESPN where she finally said they were trying to pay me X amount of dollars. It wasn't enough money. I said, thank you. Can you finally just say, why haven't we fought? It's not me. So I wanted that fight so bad. I
wanted to see
actually,
it
after
too.
I know it would have been a great fight. It would.
Okay, I'm gonna stop that part right there. I have to agree, it would have been a great fight. And it is sad that that fight never did happen, that it never did take place. But it is refreshing to hear that Layla is saying that Ann Wolf came out and publicly said, now I haven't heard this with my own ears, but I'm going to take her word for it in this interview, that Ann Wolf is the one who came out and said, no, it wasn't on Layla, it was on my people because I wanted X amount of dollars. What they offered me, I didn't want to take, and that's why the fight didn't happen. See, that's the sad thing about boxing, whether it's the women or the men side of the sport, is that so many great fights have never did not happen because of money or because of arguing over a venue. I don't want to go there. He or she doesn't want to come here. The money's not right. I've always said this about Dana White, and it's something I respect. That's one thing I always respect about the UFC and Dana White. I respect the fact that Dana White is going to make sure that the good fights happen. The fights are never going to get held up over money or nonsense like that. He's going to see to it that those fights get done. So, you know, it is what it is. But until boxing can get on like that, then I guess it is what it is. Now, the last part I want to talk about is Andre Ward asked her about the issue with her and Clarissa Shields. If you go back and you look at Ward's interview with Shields, you will see that he brings it up to her. And I probably could have added that in there, but I'd rather for you to see it for yourself. He asked Shields, what was the issue with them? And now he's asking Ali the same thing. So let's listen in and see what she has to say about it.
Sure.
He talked about that?
Oh yeah, it was a book this thick. It planned. Oh yeah.
About his funeral?
Yeah.
Oh
How it
my
need to be.
goodness.
Like
Sorry, that's about about the old man's funeral. Uh, let's see if we can skip forward a little bit.
I'm asking because I love seeing the older generation connect with the younger
Okay, yeah,
generation.
he's getting into it right
hate,
here.
and I'm gonna use that word. I hate when I see the disconnect between generations. The older generation, they hate, they don't understand. They don't. It's like, bro, I done been where you going.
mm-hmm.
I don't like when the older generation are so disconnected from the younger generation that they just don't even try. But it is tricky because it's two different eras, two different mindsets. You and Clarissa Shields, and I talked to her yesterday and kind of got an idea of what her perspective of the situation happened. But man, y'all seem to have started off good and then something went awry. What happened with you and Clarissa?
I think that, like you said, I'm somebody that is open to being connected in terms of giving people advice when they come to me for it. Clarissa was one of those people who reached out to me when I think it was after she won the Olympics the first time. I commentated the Olympics. I was aware of who she was.
Okay.
She reached out to me somehow and asked me advice about should she go to the Olympics again? Should she go pro? And I remember telling her, like, there ain't nothing in 168. You know what I'm saying? Like, she told me she was doing good in school.
Okay, like I said, because of copyright reasons, because like I said, I don't know how funny they are with this. I'm going to jump in. Yes, Shields has also said that she looked at her as a big sister and that she did reach out to her for advice. So Ali is saying the same thing here. We'll continue.
I asked her about herself. She was really smart. I said I would do the Olympics again, and then I would go to school and do something else. Like I'm thinking she's going to use the Olympics and catapult into something else. You know what I'm saying? But because I was like, at 168, there's nothing
In the pros.
in the pros. I said, you ain't gonna make no real money there. I said, but if you do go pro, go down. I had a lengthy conversation about that because you go down to like 58, 47, because I'm looking at her and I told her, I said, you can do it. If you diet down, if you get a nutritionist, I'm looking at your body.
And I agree with that as well. Ali does say early in the interview that she also said the same thing about herself, that there was really nobody for her to fight, up in those higher weight classes. The competition is very thin. Even in women's boxing today, when you get past 147, the competition begins to thin out. That's why right now, if you look at the heavyweight rankings, and Shields is going to fight next month at heavyweight. There are 18. Go to BoxRec and look it up. There are 18 women ranked in heavyweight. That's how thin it is once you get past 147. All right, let's continue.
I said, because when I was 168, I was a lean 168. I couldn't get any smaller. I'm 200 pounds right now, Andre. So I'm saying I'm a big girl. People don't realize, like, physically, I got big hands, I got big feet. I'm big. So I was telling her, you're not big like me, so you can come down. So that was my advice to her. And then we stayed in touch. She would hit me before her fights. And I just remember going and promoting a cookbook and going my cookbook and going on the Breakfast Club. And you asked me what
I remember
happened.
that.
And they asked me about Carissa, like they asked me about women's boxing. I said nice things about her, like I always did. And then they ended up asking me, would I ever come back? And I said, there's no reason to. I said, I don't see anybody there that inspires me to want to come back. I was like, there's so much I would have to stop doing, you know, that I would have to do. So I guess, well, I know that she heard that and took offense to it. And then next thing I know, she's on YouTube saying Laila Ali was on, she said it out of her own mouth. Like she heard me say there was nobody that she was inspired by that she felt could give her competition. I feel some kind of way. So then she started calling me out. And I was like, wow.
Okay, I'm gonna stop that right there. And I remember that clip of the interview where they did ask her about coming back, and she did say that, and I thought that was the right answer. I mean, this was what 2 years ago, so it was 2022. I want to say somewhere around there. I mean, at this time, I think she's 45. She had at that time she wouldn't have fought for 15 years. I mean, what would be the reason to come back and fight and for what for what and for who? And I totally agree with that. She goes on to say that she believes that Shield took that a certain way, and that's kind of how the disagreement with them started. Now you would have to look at the interview with Shields. I don't want to give it all away. You can go back and look and see what she says. She wasn't disrespectful at all, so you can kind of get both sides. But anyway, fight fans, I hadn't talked to you all in a while, and I wanted to get in here and give you something, give you some type of a video and talk boxing with you. Like I said, it's always nice to talk boxing. And like I mentioned before, uh, I came across, this Andre Ward podcast, and actually, man, I'm in love with it. He does a great job. His questions are not biased. He's very even when a boxer or fighter, says something about another fighter. Andre Ward pretty much keeps everything on even playing field. He doesn't take sides. And to be honest with you, he does a great job. All right, fight fans, give me your thoughts on it. First of all, what do you think about Laila Ali's career? Where do you have her ranked? Is she a top 5 all-time fighter? And do you agree with her? Because she said it herself that her resume is a little bit tainted, and she's kind of insecure about her resume because she didn't get those fights that she wanted, those career changing fights. And what do you think about this issue with her and Shields? I will give you one more thing in this interview. She does go on to say a few minutes later that Shields seems to be someone who gets into it with a lot of people. But you can listen to the rest of it to get all the rest of the context yourself. And what do you think about that? Do you think that whole thing between them was much ado about nothing? Are you team Shields and you feel like Ali's the old guard and she was kind of throwing shade at Shields? Or are you team Ali where you feel like, no, Shields just kind of took it out of context and she took something personal that she really didn't have to take personal? Anyway, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking boxing. That's all I got. Until next time. Peace.